We were seeing the insert commands, right? Last week, the last day of the week. Okay, previously. We have seen now how to insert the data, like for a single row, for multiple rows. Okay, what kind of errors we can face because of missing codes, because of a missing number of values than the number of columns. Okay, those kind of errors also we have seen. Okay, the next command we are going to see is update under the DML. Okay, so let me first see what are the tables we were created. I think we were loaded some data in this department table. Okay, so these are some data we have loaded into the department table in last week with the insert command. Okay, so we'll try to see the updates with the same table now. Okay, so update command we are having, this is a type of a DML command, and update is used to modify or update the value of a column in the table. Okay, so uh, the very first thing we need to make sure we need to understand is these DML commands are all related to data, like insert used to insert the data. Same way, update command is used to update the values. Values are nothing but the data inside a column within the table. Okay, so update command is used to update or modify the value of a column inside a table. Okay, there is some standard syntax we are having for this update, and we need to use that same. Okay, so update command, this is what the syntax we are having. Okay, update table name, set column 1 is equal to value 1, column 2 is equal to value 2. Okay, that this is just as an example. We can have only one column update, two column update, three column update, or n number of columns. Let's say we are having 120 columns in a table. We can update those all columns in a single update statement. Okay, where condition is an optional thing we are having. Okay, but this is a very important uh, command in the update statements or delete statement as well, that we are going to see in the next. Okay, where is an condition? Where is a condition to filter the data? Okay, so what row you wanted to update, that will define by this where condition. Okay, if you are not giving the where condition, it will update the entire table. Entire table in the sense, as many rows present into the table, all the rows will be updated with the given information. Okay, so for example, let's say this is the standard syntax update. We need to specify the table name that needs to be updated. Okay, we need to specify the column name that needs to be updated and the value that should be updated into that column. Okay, this is an optional condition. For example, let's say I'm having the employee table. Okay, let me see if I'm having any data into this table. Select star from employee. Okay, we don't have any record into this table. Okay, let me see if I'm having any data into the customers table or students table. I don't think we have any data. Okay, we don't have any data. So this update command is used to update the rows into the table. For example, we are having this table here, department. Okay, so if I wanted to update the department ID, currently this is null. Okay, so I want to update this to some value, like something say 9. Okay, so how I can do that? Using update command, update, we need to specify the table name here. So what is table name? We can specify with schema name. Okay, then we are having set keyword. Set, what I wanted to set, that column name we have to give. Okay, so here I wanted to set the department ID. So I will just have the department ID is equal to. Now in this department ID, what value I need to update? So let's say I want to update here 9. Okay, now here if you see, I'm not using quotes here for this value because I'm updating department ID and department ID as an integer column. But what if I'm going to update this department name column? So whatever value I'm putting here, I need to have that into the quotes. Okay. So whatever the column we are having, based on that, we need to specify the data here. If I execute now, what will happen? If I execute this statement now, okay, so this particular
It
command,
all the nine.
correct. So this particular update command will update the department table. Into that department table, it will update the department ID with value as a 9. Okay, so department ID will be updated with 9 as a value for all the rows. Okay, why all the rows? Because we don't have any condition to filter the data. So it will update entire table. So important thing here, update command will update entire table data or all the rows from the table without where clause. Okay, so if we are not mentioning the where clause, it will update entire table data. Okay, so where condition is an important. Okay, we will see that by running this query. Okay, we will update it back to 1, 2, 3, 4. But currently we will see how it will update the data to all the rows to 9. Okay, let me execute this and you will see here 9 rows are affected. So you can see all the rows are now currently updated with department ID as a 9. Okay, and once it is updated, it will be quite challenging to roll back the data. So where condition is very important in update commands because you will lose all your data once you update the data to some different value. Okay, now if I wanted to update back to 1, I need to use some where condition here. Okay, where department name is equal to this is the department. So with this update, what will happen? It will update the department table, and in the department table, it will update department ID column to the value 1 wherever there is a department name is equal to human resource. So it will check the department name column. Wherever it is a human resource, it will update the value of department ID against that name to 1. Let's check this, execute and see the data. You will see it is updated to 1. Okay, so same way only we can update the all the values. Now I will change the value to information technology and I will change the ID to 2. Okay, same, I will update this to 3 as well for sales. Okay, we cannot update multiple rows with a where clause. Okay, I mean we can update the values with a, like multiple rows with a single where clause, but that should satisfy the condition. Now, if I execute this for single line, it will satisfy only one row because there is only one row present for this department name is equal to finance. Okay, so it will affect only for single row.
Can't we update at once all the column?
Sorry?
Can't we update at once all the column with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 9?
All the columns we can update for at one time. Okay, let me, I mean for the single row, all the columns we can update, but for multiple rows to update, okay, with a different values like 4, 5, 6, it is not possible.
Oh.
Okay, if you see here, if we are running this without where clause, it is updating for all the rows at once, but
Mhm.
it is updating with same value for all the rows. Okay, if you want to update it for multiple rows and different values, it is not possible to do that. Okay, like 2 for this, 3 for this, 4 for this, it will not be possible. So you have to do this one by one, and that is the reason where clause is very important. If you are running any update query or any delete queries, you should be very careful on that. You are using correct uh, what we say, the correct where condition to filter the data and to update only the required rows, else it will be uh, ending up with updating unnecessarily multiple rows there. Okay,
Sir, once again, what is the chances of getting roll back all these update value? as a previous.
Correct. So rollback is again possible only when you are using these things in a transaction. Okay, I will show you that in the next types of command during TCL, transaction control language. So it is possible. So within a stored procedure, okay, now you don't know stored procedure and all. So within a procedures or within your program, if you are using uh, the TCL commands, transaction command, transaction control language, rollback, commit, and elder. Okay, if you are using those kinds of command, it is possible to roll back this. Okay, because with the rollback, it will be revoking the data back. But if you are like what you say, if you are not using the TCL commands and you are separately running only the update command, then it is not possible. Okay, it is not possible without using the TCL command. If you are just running the update command, it is not possible. But along, if this update is going to be used in some transactions, okay, there are some commands we are having like transactions and all. So if you are using the within the transaction, then we can roll back this. Okay. I'll show you that
Can you run
using.
the sample query for
Yeah,
that?
we are going to see the next type of commands, right? So that time I will show you the TCL transaction control languages. Okay. So this is how we can do the
But
update.
what if like we are updating the like genders from male to female or female to male? We can do that with
Yes,
update?
yes, we can do that.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say I am having this. Let me check that. Okay, so now it is updated to all the rows correctly. Now let's see. I want to update the two columns at a time. Okay, I want to change this city. Okay, and I want to change the department to some other name. So two columns I wanted to update. Whether I can do that? Yes, for a single row, we can update multiple columns. So set, I wanted to set the department name. This is an invalid name. 7 is invalid name. So I want to update these to some what we can have there is like marketing. Marketing is already there, or it is not there. Yeah, I'll just update this to marketing.
Mhm.
Okay, and I want to change the state as well. Currently it is MN location. So I want to change this to some other location like Texas. Okay, so this is what we are going. What will happen if I run this command now?
It will update all the department as marketing. And
Correct. So it will update all the roles to department name to marketing and location to Texas. I don't want to do that. I want to update only for the this row. So
yeah,
what I can use the condition where department ID is equal to 9, right? So now only for this row it will update. Only department ID condition I can use? No, you can use some other condition as well. Okay, department name is equal to 7. This also you can use. Or what will happen if I use the location is equal to MN?
yeah, it will work.
If I use this condition, location is equal to MN, it will not update only this row. It will update
Yeah, it will
this
update
row
Update
as
both
well.
rows.
we have another, yeah.
Right,
So
because now
ID
this
will be better.
condition is satisfied by both of these rows. Okay, so it will impact to two rows, not only single row.
So unique value would be better for in this kind of case.
Right. So that's the reason we will be always using the some ID columns and all for this update here. Okay, so department ID is equal to 9. With this, we will update single row, but two columns at a time. So like this, we can update for n number of columns. Whatever columns we are present into the table, we can update with a single set command. Okay, we have to mention column name is equal to value, comma, another column name is equal to value, comma, another column name is equal to value, and so on. Okay. Now there is a location here. Okay, I want to update this location to again Texas only. Okay, but I don't want to use these two columns like department ID or department name. Okay, in where condition. So what we can use, where location
equal to null.
equal to null. Okay, null. So there is an condition for this. If I execute this, okay, it will show you 0 rows affected. Okay, that means this is not updated. We
now
can see the data as well.
we
Okay,
have to
so
put is now.
when we are comparing the values with null, okay, we cannot use equal to. We have the keyword called is null.
Okay.
Okay, so for this null only this. Okay, so for null we are having the condition is null. Okay, we cannot use the equal to sign for the null values. So if I use is null here, it will affect one row and the data will be updated with Texas. Okay.
Oh, with marketing also, department name.
Yeah, it is updated to marketing as well, correct. So now there is a duplicate department we are having. Okay. Oh, yeah. So we can update back to procurement so that we will have the department name we don't have. This. For department ID 6, we will update the department name. And now we will have the unique names. Okay, so like this, we will update the data and we will use the update command here. Okay. The next command we have is a delete. So delete. Okay, before delete, I will just go to the update only. Okay, so we have seen equal to condition. If you have to use the not equal to condition, how you will use? Either this,
Plus
okay,
For the arrows.
or this, right? So this is how you will use the not equal to condition. Okay, if you are using like if you are using the varchar value in the where clause, you have to enclose that into the quotes. If you are not using the varchar value into the where clause, you can just mention that as it is. Okay, so we have to just keep in mind these things.
It's same like the values, like when we insert
Right,
it.
how we are inserting the data, same value we have to give there as well.
Okay.
Bisa kali mo ko naman na. Ade ha. Oh, only.
Okay, next is a delete command we are having. Delete. So delete is used to remove one or more rows from the table. Okay, so delete command is used to delete the data from the table. Okay, it will not remove the structure. It will just delete the data from the table. And this is what the syntax we are having. Delete from table name where column name is equal to value. So where condition is again optional. If you will not give the delete like where clause, what will happen? It will delete all the rows from the table. Okay, so if you have 20 rows, 30 rows, it will delete all the rows from the table if we are not mentioning the where clause. Okay, for example, if I use this, okay, for now what I will do, I will just copy one table here, copy this table. Okay, just keep in mind what is this demo customer. So I'm just recreating one of the table demo customer and loading the same data as Okay, so I'm having this table here. Okay, which is having 9 records into this. If I use the delete command here, delete from table name we have to give as per the syntax. Okay, delete from table name. So what will happen if I run this command? It will
It will
delete all
delete all
the
the
rows
rows,
from the table, right? It will delete all the rows
all the
from the
rows.
table because I'm not using the where clause. But before that, I will just show you some where condition. So if I want to delete only rows where cities or the location is equal to New York. New York. Okay. So how many rows we are having here? With this
Two,
condition matching, 2 rows we are having, 3
three,
rows we are having,
three,
right?
three.
So it will delete 3 rows from this table. You can see 3 rows are affected. And you can see now all the rows with New York as a location are deleted. Same way, if
One
I want
second,
to
sir.
do this for New Jersey, sorry.
Yeah, the location is a keyword for this one SQL Server, or why is a blue?
Yeah, it is a keyword. That's why it is coming under blue.
Okay.
Okay.
For that we can keep. Okay.
Yeah, if you are getting confused, you can mark this into the square bracket
No,
and
I know big bracket. If we close the within a big bracket, it's gonna be. But the keyword, can we create a column with the keyword?
yeah,
Like,
we can create.
okay.
Okay. So let's say now we are going to delete the data for the location as a New Jersey. Okay. If you see, if I'm adding one more space here, okay, now it will not have any rows impacted. Okay, that means the space also matters. Your value should be exactly matching with the value within the table. Okay. If you add some leading spaces, then also it will not impact the record. But what if I'm adding the trailing spaces here? Okay, you see the difference here. When I add the trailing spaces, the values are being deleted. So not only for this update or delete statement, anywhere if you are adding the trailing spaces, that will be removed by the SQL Server by default. But
It
any
should be
space
the
you
same
add
in
the
from the column.
insert as well. Okay, for insert as well. So if you are having the leading spaces, that will be considered as a value. If you are having spaces in between, that also will be considered as a value. But the trailing spaces will be removed by default by the SQL Server. Okay. So yeah, this is how we can delete. Now you see the data with New Jersey also will be deleted. Okay, so now there are 4 records we are having. Now let's say I want to delete all the 4 records together. So I can go this delete without the where clause. Okay, and without where clause, it will remove all the rows, all the remaining rows from the table. You could see now there are no
So like
records.
we can choose any like location or department ID or
Yes,
department name, anything,
anywhere, any
right?
column we can choose in the where clause.
Okay.
It is not like only one column. Any column we can choose in the where clause.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what the delete commands in SQL Server. Delete is used to remove one or more rows from the table.
So, sir,
Yes.
here you said front space and middle space will consider as not
Values.
executed, and last space it doesn't matter.
Right. It doesn't matter. It will be removed automatically.
The drop will like we use drop to remove a column and we use delete to remove like rows from the
Data.
column, right?
Right. Right. Drop is
Okay.
used to drop the object. That is a DDL command, like dropping a table, dropping a column, dropping a procedure. Okay,
Okay.
dropping view. So object we can delete from the database using the drop command. And delete is only for deleting the rows within the table, the data within the
Okay.
table. That's why we are saying these DML commands are related to data within the table. Okay, not
Okay.
the structure of the table. Now,
So,
which one command we were using for removing the rows? One more command we were using earlier.
truncate.
Truncate, right? truncate is also we were using for removing the rows from the table. Then what is the difference between the delete and truncate? Okay, I would say important interview question. Okay, difference between delete and truncate. Okay, so yeah, what is the major difference we'll be having?
Truncate deletes all the rows at once.
Right, so with truncate we cannot use the where clause, right?
Only one data.
Right.
It removes only
It will
one data.
remove all the rows from the table at
Table.
once. Okay, so very first, if you want to go very basic, right? So we can see uh, delete, or I will say truncate. Okay, so type of command is a DDL for the truncate, right? And here for the delete, it is a DML. It is a data manipulation language.
Language.
Okay, then next difference we can say is what it removes. Okay, it removes
All rows from the table.
right. So it will remove all rows
Table.
always. Okay, and it is always, not sometimes. Okay, it is always. But here in delete command, okay, it will delete
Row.
selected rows or all rows also can be removed. Without where clause, it will remove all the rows as well. Okay, then where clause, it is not
Not
supported.
use.
Not supported. But here
It
it
can
is
support.
supported, right? Then
Faster.
right, yes, speed. Speed is an important. So the delete speed is relatively slow.
Slower.
Okay,
And
yes,
truncate is faster.
truncate will be faster.
We can
Then
recover from the delete.
What?
okay, what is we can do?
We can remove recover the data from a delete command, but not from a truncate.
No, even truncate also rollback is possible. Okay,
In drop, it's
if we
not
are using,
possible, right?
yes. So
No.
if drop, yes, drop it is not possible. Yeah, but DDL like truncate and delete both the commands. If we are using a transaction, we can recover the data.
How's a truncate? We can recover it. Huh?
Yeah, it will be recovered if we are using in the transaction. We can see that. Okay, we will see.
But transactional, I'm not talking about the transactional, like a transaction commit rollback like that.
Yeah, if we are using commit rollback transactions and we are using the this truncate and delete command within the transactions, we can do the rollback for those. Okay, without transaction, we cannot do the recovery for delete as well. Okay, like this, if you are running the separate delete command, okay, now we already deleted the data. Okay, we cannot roll back that.
From delete, there will be in the sandbox the 10 dB we have to recover from there.
No, see, let me, we have some another table. Like this is the table we are having the data currently. So let's start from this one. Okay, now we have this data. So if we are using the delete command, I will say begin transaction. And I will use the delete command to delete the data. Okay, select star from, again same table I'm using. So after deleting, immediately I'm looking for the data from the table. Okay, and after looking into the data, I'm just saying
Back.
rollback transaction. And after rollback, again I am going to look for the data. Okay, so now if I run this together, what will happen? Or I will just say run up to this. Okay, execute this. You see here the table is empty. What was happened? The rows has been deleted from the table. 9 rows are affected. Okay, because we have written the delete command. Okay, but now if I run this execute command, I could see there is still data. So what was happened just there? I'm using the transactions here. Okay, these are the TCL commands, transaction control language. Okay, so within a transaction, if we are using the delete command, we can recover that data using the rollback command. So what I did, I deleted the data, I ran the select command. So after immediately deleting the data, I did not see any record into the table. This I was written just to see whether the delete is impacted or not. But after deleting, after running these commands, again I roll back the data. That means whatever the query that was executed within a transaction, that was rolled back.
The same like a
Rollback in
phone
the
delete
sense,
and recover.
right. So
Can
see
you
here, delete it, and there are no rows. Data is rolled back, and if I
So
run
what
this
is
now,
transaction?
transaction is a unit of commands or a set of SQL statements, we can say. Okay, now let's see what will happen with the truncate. Okay, truncate table, and now let's execute this. Okay, 0 rows affected. With the truncate, it is not showing anything. You can still see the data into the table. Okay, so both delete and truncate commands, both of these commands, if we are using within a transaction, the data is like data can be rolled back. Okay.
So like we have to
uh,
execute the whole command together, or we can just do the
Right.
like begin transaction and truncate and then like select from and then the rollback
No, we
separate.
cannot do this separately. Okay, even though we can do this separately as well. Okay, for begin transaction, there should be always a rollback or commit. Both of these things we are having. Okay, we were going to see this next type of command. What is the rollback, commit, and begin? Okay, so that we will see. But yeah, now for every start of the transaction, there should be end of the transaction as well. Okay. And yeah, we have seen this, the both truncate and delete, both of this command can be rollbacked using a rollback command if it is used within the transaction. But if it is run as a separate query like this, we cannot roll back the data. Okay, now if I see the data from this table, it will not be possible to get back the data because it is deleted now. We cannot roll back this.
can you change the DB temp DB? Select this equal 1031 instead of that.
From this,
Yes, sir. Temp DB is the below one. The below one.
so it is
No, that
still,
is a test DB. Okay, now
so I
run
want
the.
to, it is not present into the temp.db. Okay. This table is not present into the temp.db. In temp.db, we will have only the temporary database objects. It is a physical permanent table. It is created under 1031. Okay, so it will not be there under the temp.db.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah,
So whenever
I
like
think you
we
were
want to roll
confusing
back the
there.
data, we have to use roll back with the truncate to
Transaction,
delete, right?
right? We have to use with a transaction. Okay. Yeah, the next what the difference we were having is faster than yeah, foreign key is one of the thing we are having. Okay. Foreign key, okay, that is also not the difference because both work similar manner. One thing we are having, which is important in interviews as well, you need to mention that identity reset. Okay, this is one of the thing we are having. I will just show you how to, what is this. But identity reset, we are having a concept. The truncate will reset the identity. Okay, and in delete does not reset. Oh, now what is this identity that we will see? It does not reset. Okay, now let's talk about this identity. Okay, so identity is a keyword in a SQL Server. Just see into the oops. Yeah, it is an auto increment field. Okay, so in SQL Server, we have the identity keyword that MS SQL Server uses the identity keyword to perform an auto increment feature. What is auto increment feature? Auto increment will allow you to generate a unique number automatically whenever there is a new record inserted into the table. Okay, so whenever we insert a new record, a new value will be generated for that particular field. Okay, and identity can be marked only on the integer data types, integer, big integer, small integer. Okay, that kind of data types. Okay, and how we will do that? Mentioning the identity keyword, and there are two values we need to pass. So first value is a start value and second is a increment value. It means it is called as a seed as well. Okay, so here in this example above, the starting value for identity is 1 and it will be incremented by 1 for each new record. Okay, so if you give say 10 and 5, it will be starting with 10 and incrementing by 5 like that. Okay, let me create one table here with the same values. Okay, same structure from the notes. Okay, just went on all the lines on a single row. I will remove this primary key as of now. You don't know. We will be discussing later next sessions. Okay, so this is what the table I'm creating. What is additional here? Additional is this identity keyword. How we normally create the table? By mentioning create table, table name, column name, data type, column name, data type, column name, data type. Okay. I was added after the data type this identity keyword. So identity keyword will allow or it will generate an auto increment values for the person ID. Okay, how to check that? For that, you need to insert the record here. Okay, and when the column is defined as an identity column, we cannot pass the values for that. It will be automatically generated by the SQL Server. Okay, so let me just execute this to create the table. And now let's try to insert the data. Insert into dbo.persons. Okay, and what columns we are having here? Let's say I don't want to give the column names here. So I will just mention values. Now, person ID, we need to pass, let's say 1. Last name we need to pass. Let's say I'm passing some last name here like Sharma. Okay, first name we need to pass, let's say Rakesh. And age we need to pass, let's say 25. Okay, so 4 values we are going to pass because there are 4 columns. Okay, when we are not mentioning the column names here in the bracket, what we need to pass? We need to pass values for all the columns, right? So we are doing that. We are giving the values for all the columns. When I execute this, it will throw the error. Okay, now what is the wrong? Because we are having 4 columns and we are passing 4 values. So what is the issue here? So it is saying like an explicit value for the identity column in table can only be specified when a column list is used in an identity. Column list is used and identity insert is on. Okay, so identity insert we cannot do explicitly. That means this is an identity column. Okay, so we cannot pass the value. So in that case, what I can do is I can just remove this value And now if I try to execute this, it will insert the record here. Now what will be the value for the person ID? Because we have not specified the value, but still it got inserted. So what is the value? 1. How it is decided? Based on this value. It will start from 1. And whenever there is a new record is inserted, okay, let's say we are having a new record here, let's say some Papa. Okay, and say also, okay, we are having some new record here with the same like different name. When I execute this, okay, it will insert second record, and what will be the value for person ID field? It will be 2. How it will be? Because of this value. So identity keyword in a SQL Server will generate the auto-incremented values into a specified column, okay, with a specified starting value and specified seed value, or we can say the increment value. Okay. If we are not mentioning anything, it will take by default 1 and 1. If we are not mentioning anything, but it can be
auto increment instead of identity.
Sorry.
Can we write auto increment instead of identity?
No, auto increment is not supported in SQL Server. That is in MySQL or Oracle, we use that. But for SQL Server, it is an identity keyword.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But the feature is same. Okay, let's say I'm using some name, another name here. Okay, let's say we are using some name as a Chaitri. Okay, or some Sonia. So when I use this again with some different age here, insert the record. Okay, it will affect the one row, and we could see it is third row. Okay, so this will be auto incremented every time. Now let's see.
Like if you write identity 10, like 10,5.
So it will start from 10 and increment by 5. So first record when you insert, it will be 10. Second
10,
record, it will be 15.
20.
Third record will be 20.
20.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now let's see the difference here now. We have the data, we have the identity column, and now it is saying like the delete will not reset the identity. Okay. So what I will do now, I will delete the data using delete command from this persons table. Okay. So I'm using this persons table here. I execute command. What will happen if I execute this command? It will delete all the rows from the table, right? Execute this, it is deleted 3 rows. Now you can see there is no data into the table. Okay. Now I will reinsert these 3 records once again. Execute this and see the data now. What is the identity value?
Oh, it's changed.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
the
it's
delete
new.
command was deleted the data, right? So first 3 records are deleted.
So
Now
it's
we have
act
inserted the
as
record. Okay, it was in when we insert the record, it is started from the next value. So whatever was the last generated value we were having. So from that last generated value, it has started the next. So 3 was the last, it was started from 4, 5, 6, and so on, it will go. Okay, which means the identity reset will not happen when you delete the data using delete command. Okay, now I will do the truncate for this table. Truncate table. Okay, I'm truncating this table now. Execute this, and you could see there are no records present into this table. Okay, once again, I will insert the same 3 records. It is executed, 1 row affected, 1 row. So 3 rows are inserted. Now see the data and see the identity value. Okay, so now with the truncate command, it was resetted the identity starting from the initial value again. Okay, how this is possible and how the SQL Server know in the delete command what was the last generated value, how it is calculating, because the data is already deleted. Okay, so still it is like identifying the last value, and it is giving the next identity value for the next record inserted. Okay. So this is the concept of storing the data. In SQL Server, whenever the data is stored into any of the table, okay, it will store some identity value in some different tables. Okay, there are in the background there are some logical tables will be having in SQL Server where the metadata of this all the tables will be stored. And when we use the delete command, okay, only the rows will be removed one by one. Okay, SQL Server will not touch the identity metadata which is stored in SQL servers or Microsoft SQL servers, a secure server where the metadata is stored. Okay, so they will always keep the data, and SQL server will remember the last identity value from that table. We cannot see that table here. Okay, but this is what happens in the background. Okay, but when the truncate command will be executed, okay, it will remove all the rows along with the metadata, and it will immediately reset the identity counter back to the original starting position. Okay, that's the reason the identity reset will happen with the truncate and it will not happen with the delete command. Okay, normally this data, okay, whenever we insert the data will be stored in some pages. Okay, if someone is from the uh, like networking, or they know how the data works and all, okay, so there will be pages of data will be having. Each page will be of 8 KB size will be having. On each page will be storing the 8 KB data in the background. In the load there will be nodes and all. Okay, there are big concepts we are having for this data and all in the behind, like in the back end. Okay, so yeah, for now, or we can say for us, it is just need to understand this, how the identity reset happens and what is meant by identity, how it will not happen in uh, delete command. This only we need to understand and keep in mind. Don't need to worry about how it is storing and all those backend things. Okay, don't confuse on it.
Sir, in delete command, what you say, identity reset doesn't.
Yeah, with the delete command, we cannot reset the identity value. Okay, it will be like next value it will take whenever we insert the new record.
Okay.
But when we use the truncate command, the identity value will be resetted to initial position. Like it will
So I
start.
have one more question. Like
Yes.
whenever we want to store the like data for years, like can we use like date of birth instead of age, because every year we have to update the age?
Right. So that kind of columns are computed columns like age, right? Because we can
Mhm.
calculate age anytime if we have the date of birth. Yeah, that is a good question. So we cannot store the age into the tables. Normally, we cannot do that, or we don't do that normally in real time, because these
Okay.
fields are like computed fields. Okay, and we we have one process called normalization where we will avoid such things. So there are some rules we are having. Okay, to create the columns, to create the tables, how the columns should be, so that all we are having in a normalization that we will see during that particular topic. Okay, but yeah, good question and good observation. We normally don't store the columns like those.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so this is what the DML commands: inserts, update, and delete. Any questions on the DDL and DML?
No.
Okay, so next type of command we are having is a DQL, or it is a DCL, not a DQL. It is a DCL, data control language. Okay, so DCL commands are used to grant and take back the authority from any database user. Here are some commands. So this is again will not be used by the DB like database developers. Okay, so we'll be working, if we are working as a developer, we will not be using the DCL commands. This will be used by the administrator people. Okay, and these are related to the access. So when we say control, these are related to controlling your database, controlling your server. Okay, so these commands are used to grant and take back the authority or take back the access from the any database user. So let's say you are having a team of 10 people and you have been added one new person in your team. So we need to provide the access for each of the database, each of the server to that new person. Okay, so that new user we can give the access to, okay, for the database or server. So in this DCL, there are two commands, grant and revoke. Okay, so I will write it down here. I think I already have that. DCL. Okay, so these commands are used by the DBAs, database administrators. DCL commands are used to grant and take back the authority from any database user. Okay, I would again mention it is used to control database access. Okay, then we can say it is used to give permissions, then remove permissions, in overall we can say it is used to manage the security. Okay, so these are the commands. So there are two commands, grant and revoke. Grant is used to give the permission on any database server tables to the user. So the permission or access can be defined based on the table level, server level, or database level. Okay, and there are different roles we are having. What kind of role a user can have. Okay, and revoke command is used to take back the access, or we can say take back the permission on any database server tables to the user, or we can say from the user. From user. Okay. And there is one more SQL Server specific command we are having. Okay, this is not, this grant and revoke is common for other databases as well. But there is one more command we are having, which is only in a SQL Server, deny. Okay, this is used explicitly for blocking the blocking the permission. Okay, though this is again very rarely used. Grant and revoke are the major one we are having. Okay, so there are these kinds of accesses we are having, read only and read write. These are the roles we are having. So when any user is having read only access, okay, so read only in the sense user cannot do any modification. Okay, what kind of modification? Like adding a column to the table, changing the data types of the table, okay, deleting the table, deleting the procedure, modifying the procedure. Okay, that modifications cannot do. Adding the data into the table, updating the data. We cannot do that when we as an user have only the read only access. Okay, so with the read only access, user cannot modify the database. Okay, so he can only write the select commands to see the data or see the objects. And another permission, another role we are having, read write. So in this read write access, the user can allow to modify the database. That means create new tables, delete existing table, adding the data, updating the data. Those things can be done using if we have the read write access. Okay, so here is the command for grant, or the syntax for the grant. So grant privilege type. Now what kind of privilege we are going to give? Okay, on which object to which user? So this information we need to pass here. Okay, so let's say this is my username. Okay, I'm having this username here. If you see, when I choose this SQL Server, I'm having the, okay, I don't have this Windows authentication. So if you see here in the like blurred or font, we can say here is a username, desktop, and then slash Acer. So that is my username. So I can give that username here. Okay, so for example, grant privilege type, we can pass multiple accesses at a single time. So I want to give the access on select query, insert, update, delete. Okay, on the employee table to the user, this user. Okay, then granting select, insert, update, delete on a particular database. So this is a, I would say, table level access. Okay, then this is the database level access. Okay, and this is again execute for the database level. Okay, so here either we can mention the database name or table name as well. So if we are giving the access or permission to select, insert, update, delete on a database, okay, we don't need to give a separate permission on particular table present into this database. So once we given the access to this user on a database, okay, under this database, whatever number of objects we are having, that can be modified by the user, because now we have given the access on a database level. So no separate access needed for the table level within this database. Okay. Any question? Okay. If not, we are good then. Okay. So if a database level access is provided, we don't need to worry about the table level access within this database. Okay. But yeah, if any other database we are having, and in that database we are having 10 table, I don't want to give the access to all the 10 tables. I want to give the access only for the one table. We can give a table level access again. Okay, that we can do. I don't want to have the give the access on this table for insert and update. Okay, I don't want the user to modify the database. So what I can do, I can give only the select permission. Okay, so here I'm not giving the insert, update, delete permission. I'm just giving the select permission. Okay, so with this, user cannot modify the data. He cannot run the insert, update, delete command. If he runs, it will be throwing error saying like you don't have the access. Okay, with this command, now user cannot access, cannot create a new object, because create is not present into the privilege here. Create, alter, drop. So he cannot create new object, he cannot drop the existing object, or he cannot modify the existing object as well. Okay, so these are the privileges.
It's
Yeah.
more like read only. Even it's not read only, but it looks like read only. You cannot
Yeah,
do anything.
yeah, but we cannot we can modify the data here, not the structure.
But like
But
if it is only select,
yeah,
then
only
it
select is yes. We can only see the objects. We can only see the data within the table. We cannot modify anything. That is a read only.
So this kind of script can be written by the admin user, right?
Right. That is what I
So
was
yeah, how
mentioning.
to
It
create
will be
the
done
several
by the.
usernames?
Sorry.
How to create the several usernames so that
They will create this. They will create this. Create the DBS. Even we can create these users. Okay. Uh, so for that, if you go here on a security, we are having roles. Okay, database roles. So these are the current roles we are having. These are the current users we are having. Okay, these are the schema names actually, users in the sense. So if you want to create any new role, we can create a new database role. Okay, that is nothing but the user, new database user.
all right.
Okay, so we can do that here as well. Even what else? Under these schemas, these are the schema we have created new schemas. Yeah, under the user, we can create a new user here.
Okay.
Okay, so here new user created, we can give the login name to that user. Okay, then what are the schemas that user can access? That all things we can define here. Okay, what are the roles, whether read write we are having access or only read, or he's a new user, we are giving the admin access as well or not. So that all things we can decide, yeah, while creating the users. But again, this all will be normally done by the administrator people,
Okay.
database administrator. Okay. Then this is for the grant. Same way we can write the commands for revoke as well. Only thing is, now instead of to, we have to mention from here, from which user we are revoking the access. So revoke, insert, update, delete on employee table from this user. Revoke, select, insert, update, delete on this DB from this user. Okay. So this is what we can do. And these are some privilege type I have mentioned here. Select, insert, update, delete or execute. Okay.
Sir, one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
So can you go back to grant
Okay.
command? So like the third row, the grant execute on bulk insert underscore loop to Shivraj. So is that means like they can do anything or what is that?
No. Execute is a separate kind of command we are having that is used for stored procedure.
Okay.
Okay. So like to see the data from the table, what we write is we write a select command, select star from table name. Okay. If there is a stored procedure, let's see, I'm having some stored procedures in this database. Okay. So this is the name of the stored procedure. Okay. So for stored procedure, I cannot use the select command. Okay. It will throw the error. Okay, invalid object name, because it is trying to consider this as a table, but this is not the table. Okay, this is not the table, and that's why it is failing. Let me add some other procedure here. So select cannot be done with the procedure. So to run the procedure, we normally use the execute command.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the procedure and we use the execute command. So it will execute this procedure. So that access we are having here.
Okay. Got it. And we are focusing here right now, just the table right now, right? That's what you said
Right,
earlier.
right,
Yeah.
right. So that's why I was not mentioned that, but yeah, we have this execute also a privilege. It is a type of access we are going to provide. Okay. This username, this is a system function. If you use this select username, it will show you your username. Okay. I mean, it is a schema under which the user is. Or system user will show you the current username on your system. System underscore username. Okay. Same way, you can see the your current version of the SQL Server as well. We are having some system function called at server name. It will show you the name of the server. So if you don't know what is your server name, normally it will not happen because you are connecting to the server. So while connection itself, you will be knowing like what is the name of the server. But yeah, we are having these functions as well to know about the server database and the username. Okay, so these are all the DCL commands we are having in SQL Server. Any question on DCL, the grant and revoke?
So in grant, we can give permission, like grant permission to any user.
Right. But to give the permission, you should be the admin user.
Okay.
Okay, and that will be the database administrators only. And that's why I was mentioning this. This is not for us. This will be useful for administrator people. But yeah, for interviews and for like for interviews, it is required to know what is mean by DCL, what are the commands we are having, and what we can do with that commands. Okay, so
So
DCL are
can
the
I think it's more like either it is a public database or private. If it is like Facebook or something, maybe any user, but if
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a company one, it should be a private user only.
right.
Yes, yes.
Normally,
Understand.
in companies' databases, servers are very secure. Okay, no one will have access to everything.
Yeah.
Okay, even there are different kinds of databases will be there. Servers will be there. Okay, there will be one server. Currently on our machine, there is only one server. But in real time, you will be working on multiple servers at a time. Okay, so one server will be only for the development, where you will do the new developments like creating new tables, procedures, function. Another server will be dedicated for the testing. So whatever development you did, so on testing server, the testing will happen on that, and only the testing team will have the access to the objects within that server. The developers will not have the access. Then we'll be having the production server. Production is nothing but it is an actual live server, which is binded with the actual websites, actual mobile applications or softwares. So that will be real time data will be there in the production server. So production, no one will have the access. Okay, only the DBAs will have the access. Because if we do any modifications into the production server, that will result in a system crash or software down. Those issues will happen in the production servers changes. Okay, so normally production will not have the access to anyone. Okay, during the project you will understand all these concepts, what is production, go live and all. Yeah, but yeah, in short, there will be a multiple servers you will be working in real time. Okay, and within a server as well, there will be a many databases you need to work on, and every database you will not have the access. Some database you will have the access to read only, some database you will have the access to read write. Okay, so those things will happen in real time. And if you think like I need the access of a particular table, particular database, you can request the access using the ticketing tools. There will be some tools in the organization will be there. Okay, where you need to fill up the forms online, you need to submit the request, and it will be assigned to DBAs, and they will uh, authorize you to access those tables or the database.
That's what you are teaching right now, the grant permission.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so the lowest we can go to grant or revoke the permission will be table, or we can go to column as well.
No, column we cannot go that.
Uh,
Okay, if we are able to access the table, all columns will be accessed.
no, but not a single column, right?
No, it is not.
So what is the difference between this revoke and deny? Deny is for the particular table, or
I think if you ask and they will just deny it.
Yeah, I mean, see, this is for temporary period as well in the deny. Okay, that means you are able to access the particular database. Okay, like what we can say, there are multiple roles we are having. Let's say we are having admin role and we are having system admin and some like server admin, two roles we are having. Okay, and the system admin has given you the permission on a particular table. Okay, but you have been raised a request for that user you want to deny. So as a different admin, like there are two admins I'm talking here. One is a system admin, one is like server admin. So one has been given a permission, another can deny that permission. Okay, that kind of authority will be having to those within the admins as well. Okay, so explicitly to check the permission is correct or not, we use this deny there. Okay, so here someone is giving the permission, that permission only we are denying, like that. So it is like a class teacher and headmaster, we can say, right?
okay.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So this is a DCL command. Next we are having is a TCL, transaction control language. Okay, some part we already have seen during this difference between DDL and delete and truncate. So TCL are the commands which is used for controlling the transaction. Okay, so for that you need to understand what is transaction. Okay, in normally where we use the transaction, we use for the banking, right? We are doing the transaction, we are transferring money from one account to another account, we call that as a transaction. Okay, but in SQL terms, transaction is a unit of work. Okay, we can say a group of SQL statements executed as a single unit. Okay, single unit of work, we can say. Okay, so this is what the transaction means in SQL Server. Okay, so whenever whenever we are referring the transaction, it is not a bank transaction. Okay, so it is a unit of work that needs to be executed together. And there will be only two modes of a transaction in SQL Server. Okay, either success or fail. Okay, we cannot in between. Okay, so if success, save the changes. Fail, roll back all the changes. This is how it works in any database, any database management system. Okay. For example, we can again go with the same example of transferring the money. Okay. There is an account A. Okay. Deduct $1,000. Okay. And account B, I would say add $1,000. Okay. If system crashes, or maybe before, like system crashes after deducting the money. Okay. The money is deducted from account A, but after before crediting to the account B, system crashes. Okay. There is some network issue, there is some database failure or something happened. Okay. So if the transaction is successful, that means, sorry, if the first step in this transaction is successful and second is failed, the money is not debited, credited to the account B. Okay, this should not happen. If this happens, what we need to do, we need to roll back all the changes. So what changes we are doing? We are deducting the amount. So that should be credited back to the account A. Then only we can say the transaction is successful, right? But if it should not happen like the money is deducted from account A, it is never credited in account B, and it is again not credited back to the account A as well, right? This is not happening in real time as well. Whenever there is an error, maybe after some time or immediately, your account will be credited back to your account, right? Your amount will be credited back to your account if there is any failure. This is how the transaction works. Okay, so either both transactions should succeed, both the operations should succeed, or both the operations should fail. Okay, any one should not succeed and anyone like it should not happen like one is succeed and another is fail. If it is done like this, it should be rolled back to the original state. That is what this TCL commands are used for. Okay, so these are used with the DML commands, insert, update, delete mostly. Okay, whenever there is a data, we are like having the data transfer or like data modification, we'll be using these TCL commands. Okay, this is used with DMLs mostly. Okay, DDLs are auto committed, hence could not be restored and hence cannot be used with the TCL commands. Okay, but even with the DDL as well, we can do this if it is used in a transaction. Okay, but mostly this is for DML because we have to secure our data. We have to keep our data very safe and there should not be any mismatch into the data. That's the reason we will be using this with the DML commands. Okay, there are three commands we are having: commit, rollback, and save point. From that, save point is never used. Okay, for the transactions, we use commit and rollback only. Commit is used to save all the transactions to the database or all the operations to the database. Okay, all the changes to the database. And rollback is used to undo the transactions that have not already been saved to the database. Okay, so before saving, we are having the option to rollback. Okay, and normally rollback we will do only when there is any error, there is any issues in the transaction.
Before
Okay,
saving,
there are no
before
issues.
committing?
Sorry.
rollback should be done before commit?
No, see, there is a method we are having, the try catch method. That means the rollback should only happen if there is any error. Okay, so if we use rollback before commit, okay, so the changes will not be there. So
Save.
what it will save? It will save the rollback the changes. That should not happen. So normally the transaction will be happen only for one thing. Either it will be committed or it will be rolled back. Both will not happen together.
If I have error in my data and I committed it, can I roll back it or
That
not?
will not, no, we cannot roll back. If it is committed, we cannot roll back.
So before committing, we have to do rollback if there is any error.
If there is any error. Okay. So there are different methods we are having that we are going to see in the procedure during the stored procedure, how to do that, how to handle those error. So based on that we will do. But normally see, these two things will never execute together. Any one will happen from both of this. Either it will be committed or it will be rolled back based on the error your SQL queries. So in SQL queries, if there is error, data will be rolled back. If your SQL queries are not having any error, it will be committed, which will be saved to the database permanently. Okay.
So here, sir, commit means success and rollback means error.
All right. So commit is saving the changes. Rollbacking is undoing the changes.
Sir,
If
one
there
more
error,
thing.
it will roll back then.
Right. So rollback itself is not a error. Okay. If there is a error, there will be rollback. Rollback is nothing but
Yeah.
Control Z we are doing on our keyboard,
Like
Yeah.
right?
Control Z,
So it is undo.
Undo.
Sir, one more thing. So,
Yes.
so for the commit, it is for the current transaction saving or the new transaction saving?
Whatever transaction we will be having in our procedure. Okay. So
It was
say
for
transaction is a unit of work. Okay. For example, I will say, yeah, here I'm having. Okay. So these are the things we are having. So what the same example I'm taking here. Okay. I want to do the transaction. So whenever there is a bank transaction happening, okay, there is some tables which is holding the data. That's why you are able to see your account balance on your screen, right? So somewhere it should be stored. Okay, so whenever a transaction is happening, that table should be updated with the latest balance or new balance. Okay, after deduction or after crediting, right? So same way, I have written one query here. Okay, so from the accounts table, I'm sending the money. Okay, from the accounts table, I'm sending the money. So I am sending the money from account number 10 to account number 12. Okay, so what should happen? Account 10 should be updated with a new balance after deduction. Okay, let's say I'm having account balance as a 500 and I am sending 100 as a money, like $100 as a money. So my new balance should be updated here. Okay, not only this, the deposited accounts also should be updated with a new balance by adding the $100, right? Then only we are calling this as an entire transaction. Let's say this is failed, or let's say this is successful. That means this update was completed. Okay, and during this update there is some error, maybe connection timeout, server issue, whatever it is, and this update was failed. So in that case, whatever update this was happened, this should not be saved permanently because the entire transaction is not completed. One unit is completed, another is failed. So whatever the completed unit we are having, that should be rolled back because there is an error. Okay, so this is what we are doing in the error handling using the transactions. Okay, so this both will save permanently only when there is success for both of this unit or both of this operation. If any one is failed, it will roll back the changes. Okay, and this we will see in detail during the procedure, but if you want, I will show you one of the stored procedure here. And this is not. We'll go with the AdventureWorks database procedure. Yeah. No, so that's not. I just wanted to see the procedure with transactions. This is all if else. I don't think we have any. Let me show you some custom procedure I was created. Okay, so now this is one of the stored procedure I have created. Okay, long back I have created this, and it is having multiple operations. So here my transaction is started. Okay, and I have some unit of work. So I'm creating some table, inserting some data. This is my first step. Then some update I am having. This is my second step. Then update I'm having third step. Another update I'm having fourth step. Then fifth step I'm having insert. So what will happen if all the 5 steps are completed, then only it will commit the transaction. Okay. If let's say we are having 4 error into this update. So whenever there is an error, it will not go to the next step. It will immediately jump to the catch block. We are having some error handling method, try and catch. Okay, I will not go in deep right now, but using this catch and try method, we will be capturing the error. So whenever there is an error, the control will immediately jump to the catch block, and within a catch block, we generally write the rollback command. So before this update, whatever the commands that was successfully executed, that will be rolled back immediately because our transaction is failed at some point.
Okay.
Okay. If it is all the statements within the try block is successful, all the statements, then only the commit will happen. So
Okay.
normally in try block, we will try to run the commands. If anything is failed, the control will jump immediately to the catch block to catch the error, and it will roll back the transaction.
Okay.
Okay. This is very complex procedure as of now. Don't focus more on it. Okay. But normally we will use these transactions along with the error handling methods, try and catch, so that we can have the transactions either committed or rolled back.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, this all complex procedure you see here, we are going to see these kinds of procedure. We are going to create these procedures within the classroom. Okay. Some kind of real-time work we'll be having on a project. Okay. Yeah, this is what we are having, try catch or the transaction control, commit and rollback. SavePoint is like in SSIS, generally we use this SavePoint most. Okay, so let's say you want to debug the issue. Like with the same example, if you go, we are having 7 steps into this, and I want to see exactly where the error is. So whatever the changes I made or whatever the run queries I'm running, I can save those queries up to certain point so that it will not be rolled back. Even if, let's say, we're having 5 steps and the operation is failed at 4th steps. Okay, so when it is failed at 4th steps, all the 3 steps that was completed successfully, that will be rolled back. Okay, but I wanted to save the first 2 steps permanently. So I can use the save point command there. Okay, so even if the transaction is failed, it will save up to the second point and so on. So for debugging, we use normally this. Okay, in real-time procedures and all, we will not use this save point. For debugging purpose only, we use this save point command. Okay, on this commit and rollback, you will get to know more understanding during the stored procedures when we see the try catch error handling methods. Okay. Yeah, so these are the commands we are having. Now, next we are having is a DQL that we will see tomorrow. We already have seen there is only one command we are having select, but different ways to use the select command that we will see tomorrow, along with the where clause and multiple options in the where clause. Okay.
Okay.